What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unscripted Access, episode 161. I am your host, John Macaluso, here with the majestic stallion of the West, Anthony Taw.
Hello.
Anthony, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing okay. Just been spending all day doing stuff for the website, bringing quality content to you guys.
That was the pitch perfect sales pitch. Like, even your voice, that was legit.
Well, it's partly true. I mean, that's what been doing all day, is making content for you viewers to eventually view this coming week.
And when he says eventually, he means right away. Like now.
Well,
like as you are listening to this, you should be multitasking and reading our other stuff.
You should be reading our other stuff, and yes, we do have stuff to read. For you guys to read, if you like reading. And new 60-minute access and Super Mega Awesome Go Playtime.
Yeah. Check it out, guys. But while you are checking that out, listen to the sweet, sweet melodies of our voice. Voices. Sorry, there's more than one voice. All right. Well, why don't we move on to the news? It's been another week where it's been a little bit spotty. Some news here, some news there, but nothing too groundbreaking. What do you got for us, Anthony?
What do I have? Well, here's some news that is coming from the land, or the once prestigious land, of BioWare. So one of their big writers, David Gaider, has left after 17 years. So what is he famous for writing? Well, he's famous for stuff like Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, Knights of the Old Republic, and Dragon Age. And a number of books based on one of those franchises.
All right. I guess I don't really have much to say. What about you?
Well, for me, this is just like, oh, good. Another reason for me to stop caring about BioWare. The thing
is brutal, but it is true.
The thing is that for me, so apparently sometimes I notice that fans tend to come from different time periods. I kind of classify it as time periods because, like, nowadays it's getting a little harder since companies change for you to say that you're a fan of, like, a company as a whole, because does that mean you love their new stuff and their old stuff at the same time, or are you a fan of their old stuff, and which old stuff are you a fan of? So in this case, in BioWare, I noticed there's like different groups. You have the early 2000s BioWare people, which is Knights of the Old Republic and Baldur's Gate and that kind of stuff. You have the late 2000s, which is Mass Effect and Dragon Age. And then there's the mediocre stuff that I just don't give a crap about, starting at about 2012 forwards, which is Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age Inquisition. Or, what was that? Mass Effect. I forgot what that new Mass Effect game is called. It is named after a galaxy. Andromeda, which is taking place in another galaxy. So I'm just like, so if this is this taking place after Shepard? Because if it takes place after Shepard, that would make sense. Because never in the Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3 did I ever heard of some mass relay that connected to another galaxy. Although that's a pretty hella trippy concept about linking a Mass Effect to another freaking galaxy.
See, my issue with Andromeda is, how are you going to find a villain as big and impactful as the Reapers?
I honestly have no idea, because when you talk about a villain that threatens the entire freaking galaxy, what are you going to do? You're going to come up with a villain that threatens multiple galaxies? Well, technically the Reapers, if you remember the Mass Effect 2 ending, the Reapers were coming from outside the galaxy. So
maybe their home galaxy is Andromeda.
Man, the Reapers are just done. But then again, they could just be like, they are not done, guys. I mean, you didn't destroy the Reaper homeland, and you only blew up all the ones in the Milky Way, but not our... How do you pronounce that galaxy name again?
Andromeda? Get spelled.
I am typing it now, so I can have it right in front of me, so I can pronounce it right. Andromeda. Okay, I'm having it right in front of me right now, so I can pronounce it properly every time I say this name. I don't really know because it's like, yeah, Mass Effect 3 was like the Mass Effect series, the original, the trilogy. That was probably it. Almost became at times classic of trilogies, but it probably has probably one of the best villains and probably one of the best lead ups to the whole thing. So, I don't know.
I don't know either, man. I can't help
Okay.
you with that.
Plot. This is from the wiki page. Plot. The game takes place long after the effects of the first three Mass Effect games. Okay, so way into the future, and now featuring a galaxy far, far away. Except this is way in the future, not long time ago.
They're not going to get sued for that?
Huh?
They're not going to get sued for that?
No, it's just another one of those sci-fi things. It's just, I'm just like, this is going to be a long while into the future, not the past. This is not a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. This is going to be a long time in the future in a galaxy not so far away. Fun fact, the Andromeda Galaxy is actually the closest galaxy to the Milky Way. Space is really awesome, I'm sorry. It's like that just blows my mind.
But even still, it's not like it's just a street.
No,
I mean, I guess
street.
by universal terms, yeah.
Yeah, Andromeda is the closest galaxy to the Milky Way. You can see it with the naked eye during moonless nights, even though it's kind of hard to tell because when you look up in the sky, you see a bajillion stars, and, well, it's kind of hard to see things.
The more you know, everyone. The more you know.
I look at this picture that they have on the wiki page of Mass Effect Andromeda, and I just can't help but feel that this looks like another one of those hella generic sci-fi armor suits. So it's like a gray, like cyber human assisted suit with some orange toughness markings on it and other bits because future.
Other stuff because we can. All right. Well,
it's coming out this year.
Crowd.
But anyways, back to the David Gaider thing. Like I said, there are those people who are like a fan of, like, I would like to say, like Baldur's Gate and Knights of the Old Republic days. I'm the biggest fan. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan, but I'm a huge fan of the late 2000s BioWare, and then after that, I just don't care anymore. So, I don't know. I just feel like the writing of BioWare has gotten pretty generic, and now that other games have caught up or surpassed them, like The Witcher.
The Witcher?
Yeah, like The Witcher 3, it's just kind of like, because it used to be when BioWare games came out, it was kind of like this awesome balance between gameplay and story. Because it's not a point-and-click adventure game. It's not like a super heavy, but it's like part of the story, and there is gameplay related to the story. You have a huge action sequence, and you get to talk to people. That's kind of really awesome. But then, since then, the writing hasn't really quite been as great as it used to be, and their best writers have left, and you can really tell. Like Mass Effect 3, I could really tell they had a different writer, and I actually looked it up, and I'm like, yep. Their lead writer for the first two games wasn't there anymore. Like, the lead writer, the guy who knows exactly how a Turian should behave, is not there. So what you end up having is that people who write stuff afterwards, it's kind of like a... How do I put it? I mean, it's like a really good fan fiction, but at the same time, it's kind of not the same. But, well,
yeah, no, you can definitely tell when a writer leaves. It's like there's a lack in a certain part, or the story slows down, or
certain details
it's a bummer.
seem off.
I don't.
Or certain details seem off. Like, it's pretty
Yeah,
interesting. Like,
I don't
so the
think
writer
we'll actually be able to. I don't think we'll actually see a lack or like better writing or worse writing in Andromeda because it's the first one.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
it's
this
like a
is the
clean,
first of a trilogy, right?
like here's the thing: when you have a fresh start like Andromeda is gonna mainly have, it's not gonna that kind of works in its advantage because you're kind of more open minded to it. Like with what happened in Mass Effect 3, the amount of butthurt that happened is actually kind of a little bit understandable because in that case, you had Mass Effect 1 and 2, which I personally think is some of the best stories I've ever seen in games, and it's not like it's not like an Undertale kind of story. It's kind of like a movie production done right, except it's a video game also done right, at least in the case of Mass Effect 2. And, you know, you were hoping Mass Effect 3 was just going to culminate all of this stuff, and then you just kind of, I don't know, there was just a lot of things that bothered me about it, and it just kind of stopped me from saying, this is the best trilogy in video games, bar none. I wanted to say that, but I couldn't. Because, again, it's like, how to put it? So the writer of the first two Mass Effect games is Drew Karpyshyn, if I pronounced that name correctly, and I bought one of his books, like the books. It's called Retribution. Yeah, Mass Effect Retribution. And even though that was a very, very tiny story that happened while Shepard was busy after Mass Effect 2, it was the quintessential Mass Effect book. You knew this guy wrote Mass Effect because if you read this book, it has every single detail a Mass Effect world should have. And then in 3, it was just like, I don't know what happened, but everything just kind of feels like they're trying to make it more badass, but they're kind of failing at it. Is that the best way to put it?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
It's like they're trying to make people more badass. Like you say, hey, Liara Tassoni. She never knew who her quote unquote father was. She herself. Her mother's Matriarch Benezia, but she is, she is the daughter of Tuasari, and well, that's not really good for her. Like her kind doesn't like that kind of stuff. So it's like, oh well, we don't know what her father is, and that kind of sucks for Liara, even though she's a very highly talented, ruthless, cold information broker. And then you eventually meet who her father was, and you're like, oh, well, that was a little disappointing. And then there's that whole freaking Earth plot. It's like America, but Earth. Like, just look at the advertising campaign for Mass Effect 3. You don't see a single mention of aliens. It was all about fighting for Earth. That hella annoyed me. It's all about fighting for Earth. Aliens are coming to Earth and humans will fight for Earth. And then the actual game actually featured aliens. I'm like...
It had its moments.
The blandest of the Mass Effect games. Mass Effect 3.
The series had its moments.
Oh, and the composer. These awesome composers for the first two games. Now, the third game, they had a different lead writer. They had different freaking music people. They hired Clint Mansell, which was supposed to be a big deal, but he only wrote like one really important song and then one variation of that really important song. That was it. God damn it. But Andromeda, I don't really care about Mass Effect anymore. But at least it has its fresh start. Like, this is a new... I mean, if anything, I'm kind of expecting this to be kind of like a Dragon Age Inquisition. Not saying that's a bad thing, but it'll still be good, but it probably won't be as special because I don't know what happens. BioWare's just not putting out stuff that I really care about anymore these days.
Yeah.
Anyways, David Gaider.
Let's move on.
David Gaider, yes, he let's see. Did he write Dragon Age Inquisition? Yes, he did. Okay. At least in that case, the story of Dragon Age Inquisition, even though I don't think it is as good as 1, it's still good. Just kind of a bit gray-paced.
Yeah, it wasn't. There were, like the other Mass Effect games, it had its moment, but the whole game overall wasn't extremely, like, story-wise, wasn't extremely great.
I think
it had just enough to keep people interested.
I just kind of feel like BioWare has become kind of like the Toyota Camry of Western RPGs, as far as how their development's 2D meaning. goes. And for those who don't know what I mean, the Toyota Camry is like the #1 stolen car in the United States of America, but it is also ridiculed as one of the blandest cars in all of America. But every mom and dad can get behind that car because it's reliable, it's good enough, it's fast enough, and it says Toyota on it. Kind of how I feel about BioWare in general these days. It's like, yeah, anyone can get behind Dragon Age. They're reasonably likable, and they do the right things. They don't offend anybody. The most, oh man, I lost the word. One of the least offensive developers, I guess. I don't know. But that's my Dragon Age. That's my BioWare rant for the 500th time since Mass Effect 3.
All right, well, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
So it's kind of interesting. This story. Apparently, the Unannounced Destiny sequel has been delayed. Now, I have a question for you, Anthony. How the hell is it possible to delay a game that hasn't even been announced?
I think there was like leaked information regarding this about how Destiny was supposed to have a sequel. So what happened is that so Bungie's former composer Martin O'Donnell, he wrote the music for Halo, famous guy. He got fired and he sued them for firing him without cause. So what happened during that entire lawsuit was it was Bungie and Activision, whoever owns Bungie, has to reveal documents about their timeline for Destiny, like the development timeline that was planned for Destiny, and somewhere along the line, Destiny 2 what had a date that was going to come out in like 2017 or something like that.
Okay.
So that was how people knew there was going to be a sequel, was because of the court documents that had to be presented regarding Destiny.
Okay. So, and then what sources close to Bungie said, "Oh, as it turns out, that's not going to end up happening."
Wait, what ended up happening?
No, I'm assuming that since everyone's talking, because this is actually fairly popular news for some reason, it must have been a source close to Bungie telling people, like the media, that, oh, the game isn't coming out when the court document said it was, or whatever.
Yeah, because like you have to say, when that court document is thrown out there, it wasn't like Bungie would have just told anybody about that. It's not like they're gonna come out and say sequel will be out. Because no, they didn't say that at all. It was just something that had to show up to court because of the lawsuit. And timelines change all the time because when you're talking about something that is that early in development or isn't even been started yet, things can change.
Well, yeah, that's why. See, that's the whole point. I don't understand how you can delay a game that it hasn't even been announced, Anthony. It makes no sense.
Well,
I'm more.
How do I put this? It's like, I guess that court document made everyone think, "Oh man, it's coming," when really nothing's really been that set in stone quite yet.
No, I more or less brought this up to chastise the fact that it can be that an unannounced game can be delayed. Stupid. It makes no sense to me at all.
I think this is just how the rumor mill just kind of works because, Bungie didn't say anything. Everyone's just like, oh, the court document says so, it's happening, right? But then the rumor mill stirs around and says,
Oh, man. Well, if it were any other game, no one would care. But for some reason, it's Destiny 2 that we are all very eager for.
At least I hope I got the court documents right, because that whole lawsuit with Martin O'Donnell was kind of a bit of a mess. Because
I can only imagine. Well, all right. What else do you have for us, Anthony?
What do I have for you guys? So, video games makes lots of money.
They do. Yeah, they do.
And the whole esports thing is racking up lots and lots of money. So, for those who are big fans of Heroes of the Storm, Ray Bronson, the prize pool for that tournament, which is going to happen, let's see, I didn't even read this. 2016 GCC. That prize pool for the Heroes of the Storm tournament that's going to happen there is $4 million.
Holy crap! Nice. Yeah, that's a lot of money. That is definitely a lot of money. That's good. That's all I have to say about it. Cool,
MOBAs.
I guess.
How to have a ridiculously huge tournament. Make a MOBA. Set up an esports. Watch your prize pool grow like crazy. Be on national
Definitely
TV.
the way to do it.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be? It's gonna be broadcasted on TV.
I don't think so, but I would not be surprised if it was.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is that I don't really know how do I put this. So there are like certain games where you feel that would work absolutely great if you're having a party, but don't work so great when you're trying to take it extremely seriously on a tournament level. You know, like Smash Brothers. Is it really like a Street Fighter for as far as competitive fighting games go? Probably not, even though people try to do it. So I feel because like Bronson describes Heroes of the Storm as a more laid back, quicker action, kind of like a Smash Brothers for MOBAs, because League and Dota can get too hard to keep up. So here's Heroes of the Storm, much easier to deal with if you have a full-time work schedule. Perfect. But now they're trying to make it like really, really make it an esport game. So I feel like, is that going to get in the way of the Smash Brothers thing in Heroes, where you're supposed to make it easier to get into, quicker to get into, more about action and all these objectives and all of that? Because once you get to esports, is everyone's going to start complaining about character balances and map balances and all that stuff, and kind of kill that fun aspect of Heroes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if Nintendo had to perfectly balance a Smash Brothers game. Like, to perfectly balance that, you're going to have to go through every single character in the roster, fix everything that's wrong with everything that's quote-unquote wrong, make them all okay, and make it so the tier list is not as polarizing, and then you got to make it so it's only 1v1, flat stage, no items. So basically, you just made a fighting game except with damage percentage and KOs. Which I think kind of defeats the point of Smash Brothers, because items is what makes Smash Brothers awesome.
Yeah.
Stupid BS like that Pikachu stuff and Bowser is why Smash Brothers is awesome.
Never go wrong with some Smash Bros. And I think you had a really good point there, that it is like the Smash Bros of the MOBA world.
Yeah, but then the thing is that if the fun, like, I didn't play much Heroes of the Storm, but like, it's more about the way it's being described to me. It's more about the fun than the serious grade A competition. So if that means like maps are not really quite as balanced in the name of fun, okay, by all means. But if you start adding like money and competition to it, all of a sudden people are going to complain, well, this map is unbalanced because this item is closer to their side than our side. You need perfect symmetry on the maps in order for it to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, well, that can kill some fun in the process, especially considering this is the quote-unquote Smash Brothers of MOBAs. It's supposed to be a little fun and silly in order to make it fun.
Yeah.
And
it definitely does that, so...
Yeah.
Well, all right.
But at the Global Championship Circuit, it's going to be $4 million if you are in the regionals, which are going to happen sometime in April. The prize pools can be anywhere between $18,500 to $100,000, depending which region you're in.
Well, I don't know about you, Anthony, but I wouldn't mind winning any of that.
I wouldn't have a problem either. That would be fantastic. I don't know if this prize pool is like the entire global pool put together, or if it's like broken up into like this 4 million pool is actually across separate regions.
Yeah.
It could sure to break down the spring global championship and blah 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 blah. The big one is happening in South Korea, and that's 500,000. So I'm guessing that could be a global number. That's just all the other championships added together. It's not like one big one.
Yeah.
More clarification later.
Still, that's a lot of money though, no matter how you see it.
Hey, $4 million. That's more. Well, that's actually nothing compared to the freaking Powerball.
Yeah, no, that is nothing compared to the Powerball.
Not to mention the Powerball, you don't have to like condition and train yourself in the game. You just hope your numbers are good.
But all of us have better chances in winning that money through the tournament than we would through the Powerball.
Well, the Powerball is because anybody can get in it. You just basically fill out a card, pay money, and
exactly.
You're in. Whereas a tournament, you actually have to, know how to play the game.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, well, there's that. So interesting thing for PC gamers. So any PC gamers who are looking forward to The Division, first of all, the PC system requirements have been revealed for it. Secondly, they have announced that there is no mod support for The Division, which is kind of a bummer because mods are awesome. I'm pretty sure that's actually going to hurt its sales on PC at least. What do you think?
Well, does that game have a predecessor, or is it like a brand new thing?
It's a brand new IP.
Not having mods, I don't think that's as big of a deal because it's not like it's like a shooter MMO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, mods would like throw that whole game on its head if you do that. If you allow mods into any like open-ended, open-world multiplayer game. Like imagine imagine if mods came to Destiny, that would completely screw things up because of course people are gonna mod it for ultimate gun power.
Yeah, no, I mean I think that makes sense, but I think it'd be cool if they had modded specific servers or something like that. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, but that stuff's gonna go against the
end
user license agreement.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find one and you can mod your game to run on a modded server. But that's technically illegal.
Nobody has to know.
Of course nobody has to know. That's why I don't know of any private WoW servers.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I can't argue with that. Well, as far as the system requirements, I'll go ahead and just let you guys know what the minimum are and what the recommended are. For minimum, you want your operating system to be 7, 8.1, 10, 64-bit versions only. You want i5, 6 gigabytes of RAM. You at least want an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 560 with 2 gigabytes of VRAM. So none of this is surprising so far. Or you want an AMD Radeon HD 7000, what is it, 7770? Is that how you say it? With 2 gigabytes VRAM or better. You want DirectX version 11, and you need 40 gigabytes of hard drive space. Then for your recommended specs, you want all of the above except you want an i7 8 gigabyte RAM, at least an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970, or an AMD Radeon R9 290 or better. And it will, believe it or not, require the same amount of disk space.
Oh man, I was hoping the recommended specs require I have to buy another hard drive.
Interesting.
Every time, that sounds highly feasible because like a GeForce 560 is like freaking like a 5-year-old video card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I'm curious to see how it'll run on my PC.
I think it will look great on your PC.
I'm excited, Anthony, and
if
that
the
makes
Witcher,
me happier.
if The Witcher looks great, I'm sure that game will look good too.
Oh yeah.
You probably won't. You probably
Witcher
won't be
looks
maxing.
fantastic.
Yeah, you probably won't be maxing it out, but I'm pretty sure it'll still look pretty darn good.
I will take that.
Especially compared to consoles. Yeah, I had to say that.
Those damn console peasants.
Yeah. Like, I'm not joking. Your computer is actually, like, probably graphically better than a PS4, theoretically. I say theoretically because we live in a world where all these numbers are compared, but they're all numbers in theory.
Yeah, and it's also all in the developer and how they oh crap, what was the word I was looking for?
Optimize.
Thank you, optimize, that's it.
Yeah.
Like Naughty Dog, for example.
Yeah, I don't know how they made I don't know how they made The Last of Us look as good as they did on the PS3, but they did. Without having an install. It boggles the mind. Course,
they are
geniuses. They are geniuses, but they do take a long time to make stuff, so yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'd rather that than freaking Call of Duty. But that's just me, everybody.
Yeah.
That is just me.
Speaking of system requirements, the one thing I do want to mention is that every time they get to the processor, it is always highly complicated. It is. Like, the way in, like, for me, it's easy to figure out because, for me, it is hella easy because, well, I look at computer spec sheets a lot of the time and I can easily decipher the list. But for to the average person, like, processors are really easy. An Intel Core i7. Oh, mine says i7. I'm good to go. But did you know there's like 17 billion different configurations that have that are labeled as an Intel Core i7? For example, did you know that if you go to a store, you can buy a Intel Core i7? Yeah, it's got an i7, but really it is a low voltage, low powered Intel Core i7 that has only 2 cores that performs worse than a desktop i5.
And this, everybody, is why you talk to your computer buddy before you buy parts.
Yes.
For your computer.
Your computer buddy will help you. Because when you're talking about, like, Core i7s are usually, like, performance, right? You're, like, 4 cores, hyper-threading, high-performance processors. But then, of course, Intel then decides that you can have a low-voltage, low-powered dual-core i7 that performs worse than an i5. That's when you're like, and then of course there's different generations. The i7 was like first used like freaking 2011 or 2010. So like, which version of the i7 do you have, and how old is it, and where the hell? Yeah, because the numbers can help. Like, they usually use the first digit after the 7 usually denotes the generation. So if it's like only a 3-digit, like 530, that's a first gen. If it's like 2000, 3000, 4000, 5000, that will tell you the generation of the system. And then you gotta pay attention to suffixes, which on laptops can get hella confusing because there's U, there's a Y, there's HQ. What other ones did they use? HQ, MQ? I have no idea. So it is confusing. Sometimes
so just talk to Anthony about it.
Sometimes it just feels like maybe it's easier for me to build an engine and decipher out what camshaft goes into an engine than to figure out than trying to explain a CPU, nomenclature to an average human being. It's hella messed up.
That sounds awful.
And then and the other crazy thing too is that some companies, they rebrand their stuff as new products. Nvidia and AMD are notorious for this because what they do is they take an older generation video card, tweak it a little bit, and then slap a brand new name on it. So that GeForce like GT 730, that's probably a rebranded 640, which was probably a rebranded 540, especially in laptops. For example, the GeForce GT 960. No, the GeForce GT 940M is basically an 840M with a minor bump in clock speed. That's all it is, and it's labeled a new generation with 940M, whereas the actual 980M actually has actual improvements over the 880. Which, by the way, the 880 is a tweaked and rebranded 780M.
Huh.
Yeah, I just caused everyone's heads to nod up. There you go. Welcome to the land of trying to figure out computer parts. It's not as easy as the higher number is better. In the old days, it was like that. A Pentium 3 was blatantly better than a Pentium 2. End of story. That was the old days. Now it's a mess.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fun. I'm actually really looking forward to when I inevitably upgrade my computer. Very first thing that goes up is the processor, and guess what, Anthony? I had no idea about anything that you just told us. So thanks for that.
Yeah, when we upgrade your processor,
Now,
we have to upgrade the motherboard too, because when we built it, we tried to build the fastest computer we could for the budget instead of one for the future. So yeah, there's a bit of a bind there.
oh, that's not that big of a deal. So
I could build a brand new computer and then sell you my old i5. Sell you my i7, which is way faster than that i5. Like, I'm not joking. This i7
This sounds like a good plan.
This sounds like an
Both
excuse
of
for
us
me to
upgrade.
try and compete with Nick, which I know is a dangerous and terrible plan. But the processors these days, they don't age as well as they don't age as much as they used to. Like, the one in my computer, it's gonna be 4 years old this year, and it still runs like a complete champ. It's like I install Windows 10 and my computer feels like brand new.
That is most fantastic.
Yes, it is. So like, it actually saves me money in the long run, because it used to be in the old days you had to get a new computer like every 3 or 4 years, maybe even 2 years because of how fast it was. But nowadays, tech jumps aren't as big as it used to be,
Which is a good thing.
which is a good
A
thing
very
for the
good
consumer.
thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing for the consumer because you don't have to upgrade like crazy like you used to. As long as your hardware is powerful enough, you're good for the long run. Okay, so that's the PC talk. So I've got news for more PC people. So on some prior episode of Unscripted Access, we spent a lot of time talking about City Skylines. Well, there's news related to this game. There's going to be an expansion, and it's going to snow.
I'm actually really psyched for this DLC. Well, hold on, let me rephrase that. I'm psyched for the free update that will add the weather. I probably will not, at least right away, purchase the DLC.
Wait, the weather's free?
The weather is free. It goes like the night cycle.
So it's gonna rain, be windy, flood the streets of my city because it's hilly. It's like, here's the thing I've learned about my city is that it's actually one of the things I noticed about City Skylines is that it's a little hard to see the level of terrain because you spend most of your time almost at a top-down angle. It's just slightly slanted, but even then, it's really hard to tell if there's a hill there, especially if it's a very gradual sloping hill. So sometimes I would build like a bunch of roads by the coast of a river, and then it would just have all these levels on it. And I'm like, oh, that ground wasn't really flat.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny.
Well, it's actually not that funny. It's just one of those, this angle has made it really hard for me to see hills because it's kind of like rolling. It's like a really gradual thing.
I hope that when this DLC comes out, the rain will flood out the pollution in my river right by my city.
I looked at that picture and I'm just like, dear God, what did you do? It's like, did you like brew like extra dirty food? Like, I noticed like you only have one body of fresh, clean water, which if you put too many pumps there, it's going to drain the life out of it. But everything after your dam is just a gigantic feces river. It is completely brown.
Yes, it is brutal. It's funny because the entire section of the city has been spent on clean energy. You won't find like a really you won't find power plant like a coal power plant or anything like that. It's all solar energy. It's all windmills. It's all water windmills. But then you look at the river next to my city, and you think, how did he do this?
Yeah.
Because it looks awful. Like it doesn't look good.
There are certain things I've done in my city that seem questionable as to how much of a simulator this is. For example, so my river is actually not that wide. It's basically about as wide as the Truckee River here, which compared to all the rivers out east where eastern U.S. people live, our river looks like a creek compared to those rivers. So ours is like freaking. You could if there was a bridge, you could walk across the Truckee River in like 10 or 15 seconds. So that's about the width of the river. And what's really funny is that sometimes, so you get higher land value if you build your houses or businesses on the shore of a body of water. So I've done that, and here's a house that has great land value. What is across the river? A giant industrial polluted area. You know, it's a fantastic view for your patio. So some of the logic in this game makes no sense. Like the pollution never balloons out. So when you have a city like LA, when you have high pollution, it eventually spreads around the city via winds, or that's just how air works. And in City Skylines, it doesn't do that. It's just confined to that block. So I could literally build a residential district 2 blocks away from the super mega polluting oil factory, and look, air's clean. Also, in SimCity 3000, if you have really bad traffic, that actually causes more pollution, a la LA. But in this game, doesn't matter if I've got a 1 mile traffic jam because of a really shitty design on-ramp system. There's no pollution. But there is noise. Your citizens will get sick of the noise. But they won't die from death because of the traffic jams and all that smog coming from the trucks coming from the farms up north. I think basically what I'm saying, the game could simulate things better.
Yeah, but regardless, I'm excited for the DLC.
Yes, me too. Especially the weather. That one's free. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I actually really like the day and night cycle too. Though,
I kind of wish I think it should spend more time during the day cycle, because I feel like I spend more time looking at my city at night, which makes it really hard for me to see things sometimes. And I can't force it to be day. And lock it in during the day so I can actually see things.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That is true.
Okay.
I didn't really have anything else.
Me either.
That I can think of. Yeah.
So that probably means we should move to questions and comments.
Yes, that's awesome, because from what you just said, I can assume that we have questions and comments.
We do, except some of these don't make sense. Some of these don't make sense because they need to put context in these comments. Okay, so the first one is from a guy named Steven. The Final Fantasy is going to be a big blast in the market, referring to Final Fantasy. Did we talk about Final Fantasy last week? We talked about PSN. We talked about Infinity Ward. We talked about Poké Tournament. I
can't remember, because every single time that conversation pops up, I talk about how disappointed I am out because of how Final Fantasy VII is looking, the remaster.
Which, by the way, it's being delayed to 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find to be very funny, because the Kingdom Hearts team is helping the Final Fantasy VII guys, and apparently the game got delayed. So I'm like, well, perfect. Now we got 2 games that won't be finished. these comments, like, if these actually are legitimate comments from actual people, I'm really sorry, guys, but if you guys are out there, please put some context, because I do not understand this, and I can't help if these comments are like legitimate or if they're just kind of a little useless trash.
Yeah,
I'll read the first one anyways. The Final Fantasy is going to be a big blast on the market. The second one says, I just love the graphics. It's totally awesome. Okay, what game are you talking about? And then the reply to that was, the last part was better than this, I think. Did you watch that? What the hell?
Huh.
I'm sorry, like, if these are legitimate comments, like, guys, please, like, put some context in here. And then at the same time, just like, is this spammy shit?
Well, don't get us wrong. If it's real, we really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to comment.
But at the same time, I read these and I'm like, it feels like a bunch of nothingness that I'm reading here for comments.
So yeah, I mean, we really like hearing from you guys, but it would help us out a whole lot if you would. I don't know, what am I thinking of? It would help a lot more if what you say is legible.
I mean, I understand, like, some of these comments, like, when I look at other videos and stuff, I understand, oh, okay, so this is actually relevant to what was being talked about, whereas here it's like, the last part is better. Which part? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like that joke that, that goes around when people are like, oh yeah, I went to that one place and did that one thing, and oh, you remember that one person we met? Yeah, like we did a cool thing a long time ago. It's just like, you're like, what? Just So, I mean, no offense, but if you guys are legit, just please, like, put some context as to what you're talking about, so we actually can remember and relate, because we do, like, we've done so many episodes of shows that we don't remember what we talk about unless the topic is blatantly, like, right there. So, like, if it was Infinity Ward, okay, then we'll know, but... Okay.
Yeah, no, the big stuff we'd know. Otherwise, not so much. So is that it for comments?
That is it for comments.
All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up, Mr. Ta?
Well, let's just say that you, Bremen, and I have filmed something, and we would like you guys to let us know what you guys think about it when it goes up. It's going to be a video. It's going to be a pilot episode of something new that we're going to try out. Let us know how it goes. Look forward to that in the next couple weeks.
Honest thoughts, of course.
Yeah, like, if you think anything sucks about it, like, for example,
let us know.
Yeah, that would be nice. Because it is a pilot. It's just like we're doing a test run to see how well it turns out. And I don't even know how it's going to turn out because I haven't edited it yet. We just filmed it yesterday. So look forward to that, guys. And that's about all I really have to say. Follow us on Twitch. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We have a donation page on our Twitch at the bottom. The Super Senpai Brothers are going to have a new schedule, which is going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. and Friday at, I think it's like 10 or 11 p.m. Shiitakes also have an adjusted schedule. It's going to be now Monday, Wednesday, Thursday at 5 or 5:30 p.m. I will now hand this back to you, John.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Yeah, Anthony got it. Stalk us, people.
What?
I was telling everybody to stalk us.
Oh boy, that's fantastic. Yeah, follow us on our Facebook, so that way we know. There are regularly updated, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. And with that, guys, that is it from us for this week. So we will see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Bye, all.